Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To all my brothers and sisters, welcome to the Roots of Islam channel. What if the relentless innocence and pure curiosity of a child, unburdened by the prejudices and complexities of the adult world, led him to the heart of Islam long before he could even grasp its full theological depth? Can the simple, unwavering kindness of a stranger and the profound transformative power of a single moment be enough to set a young boy on a spiritual path that would ultimately inspire millions? Imagine a story where guidance or hidayah is not a complicated intellectual process for an adult, but a gentle, almost instantaneous recognition of truth in the heart of a 7-year-old. Today we journey into the beautiful and powerful story of Islam's youngest famous convert, whose journey began with a piece of stolen chocolate and culminated in a life dedicated to the Quran. The narrative of conversion is often told through the lens of adults, of scholars, celebrities, or professionals who, after years of intellectual struggle and worldly experience, finally find their way to Islam. These stories are powerful and inspiring, highlighting the intellectual and emotional rigor required to make such a life-altering decision. However, they sometimes overshadow another equally profound type of conversion, the journey of a child. A child's heart is a blank slate, free from the cynicism and hardened beliefs that often accumulate with age. Their spiritual search is not intellectual, it is intuitive. It is guided by a pure sense of right and wrong, a deep-seated attraction to love and goodness, and an innate, uncorrupted sense of the divine. In a world that often sees religious conversion as a complex and difficult process, the story of a child's conversion offers a beautiful reminder of the simplicity and purity of faith. For a child, guidance often comes through a direct, personal encounter with kindness, a moment of profound recognition, or an act of love that transcends language and belief. The story we are about to explore is not merely a historical anecdote, it is a timeless lesson on the true essence of dawah, the call to Islam, and the power of a single act of compassion to change a life forever. It teaches us that the seeds of faith can be planted in the most unexpected places and can blossom into the most beautiful of lives. This story takes us back to a bustling city, far from the Arabian lands where Islam first emerged. In this setting, where different cultures and faiths coexisted, the stage was set for a remarkable encounter between two individuals from vastly different worlds, an elderly Muslim shopkeeper and a lively young Jewish boy. Their interaction, seemingly mundane, would become the catalyst for a journey that would echo for generations, leaving an indelible mark on the landscape of Islamic dawah and proving that the most profound spiritual transformations can begin with the smallest of gestures. This is a story that reminds us that the most powerful form of guidance is often found not in complex debates or theological arguments, but in the quiet, unwavering demonstration of faith through character and action. And our story begins in a small corner of France, roughly 50 years ago, in a modest grocery store owned by an elderly Turkish man named Ibrahim. The store was a simple affair, a hub of daily life within an apartment complex, its shelves stocked with the essentials for the local community. Ibrahim, at the age of 50, was a man of quiet dignity and deep faith, his days a peaceful rhythm of serving his customers and remembering God. He was known for his gentle demeanor, his warm smile, and his unwavering honesty. Among the residents of the apartment complex was a Jewish family, and with them lived a lively little boy named Yad. At only 7 years old, Jad was a whirlwind of curiosity and mischief. Every day, almost without fail, he would visit Ibrahim's shop to purchase household necessities for his family. Yet, behind his innocent requests lay a secret habit. As he was about to leave, Yad would stealthily pocket a piece of chocolate from the counter, assuming that Ibrahim, busy with other matters, would never notice his tiny act of thievery. For Jad, this routine had become a game, a small indulgence he enjoyed without consequence. He believed that his silent misbehavior was completely hidden from the watchful eyes of the kindly shopkeeper. However, fate and the wisdom of Ibrahim had a different plan. On one seemingly ordinary day after completing his shopping, Jad prepared to leave the store as usual. He had already tucked a piece of chocolate into his pocket, his heart thumping with the familiar thrill of the secret. Just as he was about to step out, something unusual happened. Ibrahim, without any hint of anger or accusation in his voice, called out to him softly, "Jad, my boy, you forgot something." Jad's heart sank. He froze, his mind racing. He was sure he had been caught. He slowly turned around, expecting a scolding, a lesson, or perhaps even a call to his parents. But Ibrahim's face was filled with nothing but kindness. The old man reached into a bag and pulled out not one but two pieces of chocolate, a big one and a small one. He handed them to Jad, his smile warm and genuine. "Here you are," Ibrahim said gently. "One is a gift from me and the other is for your brother. You forgot his share, didn't you?" Jad was stunned. He stood there, holding the two chocolates, his tiny hands trembling. The weight of Ibrahim's kindness hit him with more force than any punishment could have. He had been stealing, and Ibrahim had known all along. Yet instead of scolding him, he had chosen to forgive him, to cover his mistake, and to reward him with an even greater kindness. Jad felt an overwhelming rush of shame and guilt, followed by a powerful, indescribable feeling of love and gratitude for the old shopkeeper. He looked into Ibrahim's eyes and saw not a judge, but a compassionate father figure. In that single, transformative moment, Jad understood a truth that no book or sermon could have taught him. He understood the meaning of mercy, forgiveness, and unconditional kindness. From that day forward, everything changed for Jad. He never stole again. He continued to visit Ibrahim's store, but now with a profound reverence for the old man. Their bond deepened, and Ibrahim, seeing the pure heart of the boy, began to teach him about his faith. He didn't preach or lecture, he simply shared. He taught Jad simple phrases like Bismillah, in the name of God, and Alhamdulillah, praise be to God. He would show him the beauty of his prayer beads and the quiet dignity of his prostration. Jad was fascinated. He saw in Ibrahim's faith a reflection of the same kindness he had experienced. He saw a religion of mercy, forgiveness, and love embodied perfectly in the old man's character. Jad's spiritual journey, however, faced an inevitable crossroads. As he grew older, he had to grapple with his inherited identity and the newfound truth that was taking root in his heart. It was a difficult path, but the memory of that day in the shop, the two pieces of chocolate, and the unwavering kindness of Ibrahim remained his guiding light. The simplicity of Tawheed, the oneness of God, and the ethical framework of Islam resonated with his pure, unadulterated heart. He realized that the faith Ibrahim lived was the truth he had been searching for. Years later, Jad, now a young man, made the courageous decision to formally embrace Islam. He took the Shahada not out of intellectual debate or social pressure, but from a profound conviction born of a single act of kindness. He chose to devote his life to his newfound faith, taking the name Jada al-Qurani, a name that reflected his deep love for and commitment to the Quran. He became a preacher, a teacher, and a missionary. His unique background and his gentle, compassionate approach to dawah, inspired by the memory of Ibrahim, touched the hearts of millions. He never used harsh words or aggressive arguments. Instead, he would simply share his story, demonstrating through his own life that Islam is a faith of mercy, and that the greatest form of dawah is through exemplary character. Jada al-Qurani's fame grew, and he became a beloved figure, known for his wisdom and his profound ability to connect with people from all walks of life. His was a life that began with a moment of kindness and blossomed into a legacy of love and truth. The remarkable story of Jada al-Qurani, Islam's youngest famous convert, carries profound implications that transcend his personal journey. It stands as a timeless lesson on the true nature of dawah and the universal appeal of goodness. This narrative powerfully demonstrates that the most effective way to convey the message of Islam is not through complex theological arguments, but through the living example of a Muslim's character. The profound impact of Ibrahim's kindness on a young boy underscores that compassion, mercy, and forgiveness are the most potent tools for interfaith understanding and spiritual awakening. It reminds us that every Muslim, regardless of their scholarly knowledge or social status, is an ambassador of their faith, and their actions can be the very catalyst that opens a heart to Islam. Furthermore, this story challenges the often prevalent stereotype that Islam is a rigid, impersonal, or harsh religion. Jada's journey reveals a faith that is deeply rooted in mercy and love, a faith that speaks directly to the human heart's innate yearning for goodness and justice. It proves that the path to Islam can be a gentle, loving process, a recognition of truth that is both intellectually and emotionally satisfying. In a world often polarized by religious and cultural differences, the story of Jada al-Qurani serves as a powerful bridge, reminding us that the universal language of kindness can dissolve barriers and unite people in the profound and beautiful journey towards God. It is a story that teaches us to value character over rhetoric, and to recognize that the greatest sermon is a life well lived. And the story of Jada al-Qurani, the young Jewish boy who became a renowned Muslim preacher, embodies a form of controversial leadership that challenges religious, social, and cultural norms. First and foremost, Jada's conversion itself is a controversial act of leadership. As a young boy, he chose a path that was not his family's, and later, as an adult, his very existence as a Muslim preacher of Jewish descent served as a powerful and living challenge to the notion of fixed religious identity. This leadership is controversial because it demonstrates that spiritual truth can transcend the boundaries of inherited faith and familial ties, forcing both his former community and the wider world to confront the sincerity of his conviction and the possibility that guidance can come from the most unexpected places. Secondly, Jada's entire approach to dawah, which was born from his experience with Ibrahim's kindness, represents a controversial form of spiritual leadership. In a world where religious debate and aggressive proselytization are common, Jada's method, centered on gentle wisdom, personal example, and a quiet demonstration of Islamic values, was a powerful counter-narrative. This leadership is controversial because it implicitly critiques more confrontational methods of dawah, advocating for a return to the Prophet's PBUH example of gentle persuasion and impeccable character. His success in inspiring millions showed that this peaceful approach was not only effective but profoundly impactful, challenging those who believed in a more aggressive style of religious outreach. Thirdly, the story itself, particularly its focus on a Jew converting to Islam, is a controversial piece of interfaith dialogue. It holds a mirror to the historical and contemporary tensions between the two faiths, forcing a conversation that many would prefer to avoid. This leadership is controversial because it directly addresses the sensitive topic of conversion between Abrahamic religions, opening the door to both greater understanding and potential friction. Jada's life and work serve as a bridge, but bridges are often built over difficult divides, and his example leads by demonstrating that true reconciliation can only begin with a genuine, heartfelt search for truth, regardless of the consequences. Finally, the narrative serves as a controversial leadership in its redefinition of what a preacher or dawah means. His was not a journey of a scholar debating theology, but a story of a young heart touched by mercy. This is controversial because it places the ultimate value on sincerity and compassion over mere intellectual prowess, suggesting that the most effective preachers are not those with the sharpest minds, but those with the purest hearts. This leadership challenges the ego-driven aspects of religious authority, reminding all that the true essence of faith lies in humility and kindness. With that said, thanks for watching, and until the next script must.